Phil is here today to talk to us. So, Phil, you've got a great little story to tell us here on this podcast today of how your journey began and where it is now. Basically, the journey is you have your own T-shirt business, for instance, T-shirt clothing company, for instance, which you kind of source out to the whole of the worldwide world, which is a huge empire, obviously. But first of all, I've got to ask you how you became to this particular journey, how it all began for you, for instance, because you were in a pretty bad place at one time.
Basically, when I started from when I was like really back when I was a teenager, I was into a lot of drugs and crime.
Yep.
And I was doing all sorts around that area. And
what sort of age were you then, Phil?
I was 15, 16 at the time.
Right.
I got into the wrong group, basically.
Right.
I got into I was 14, 15 at the time, and I started nicking cars and doing crimes and nicking Mars bars from the shops, as you do. And you obviously pay for your drug habit. So when I was the more stuff you get, the more money you obviously make to make better drugs.
Was it a kind of a thrill for you to do these kind of things, do you think?
At the time, it was a fun game to play. Don't know the consequences. Just kind of let's have a bit of fun. Let's drive a car, no license, whatever. So that's what I did. So I went out nicking cars.
Right.
Then you start getting caught.
Yeah.
Then the police start catching up with you.
Yeah.
Then you get a name.
Yeah.
So then you come to the circle of, they call it a dark circle,
Mm-hmm.
where you're on the radar. You can't go anywhere. You can't go to the shop without getting seen.
Right.
So basically, from there, I was doing a bit of weed back then.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recommend it to anybody, but
Mm-hmm.
weed. I started doing weed, and then you try something new. It's like going to a sweet shop. You try a new sweet, and you like that sweet, so you have that sweet.
Right.
Try a new, and it's a ripple effect. You carry on and going and going until you're on hard drugs. And it got to a stage where I was trying to feed my habit. So the fun game didn't come fun anymore. It come a habit of trying to feed something that you had to do.
How many years were you doing this for
I
then?
was doing it for about probably 5-6 years.
Right.
And there's a few of us doing it, just
Right.
going around doing it. And literally, I was just doing silly things. I call it silly things now, I've got to look back at it. Silly things to make money for silly things.
Right.
And it was a kind of just keeps for a circle, kept going around, rotating for day in, day out. And then I'll get caught. I get nicked, go to the police station, picks me up.
When you were doing this in the beginning, do you mind me asking? When you were doing it in the beginning, were you thinking, oh, it doesn't matter, I don't care, or you were just oblivious to what you were doing?
Me, honestly, I thought I was invincible. I thought
Right.
I was a man, I was a gang, yes, I've got 4 lads around me. Everyone looks up to me, yes, I'm great, fantastic. Right. Then it comes crumbling down one day when you get nicked and that police officer knocks on your door. And you're standing there and you're looking at going to prison. You're like, wow, okay, I've never been, but I'm like, you got a chance of going here, and you're thinking, oh, this wasn't part of the plan.
Did your family get involved?
My family got involved. Yeah, my mum was great. My mum and dad was great. I mean, my family was great around me, and it's nothing. It's not their fault. It's my completely fault. I take the full blame for it. And my mum was with your mums. Don't do it. You get in trouble.
Do you think it was sheer boredom that you were doing this then?
It was complete boredom. I'm from Guildford, so from Guildford around the corner, we had nothing. We had nothing in there. We had no community service, like communal places, nothing. Guildford had nothing.
Right.
It's a town, and everywhere you went, it was kind of like we had the Spectrum, but at that time you had no money to go to the Spectrum. So it's kind of you had nothing to do. So you were stuck in the middle of a part field, or you were up sitting inside a building smoking fags or something like that. So you've got to find something to just interest yourself.
Do you think this is a big problem for youngsters now?
It's a massive problem for youngsters now, and I'm hoping the community brings more stuff out for youngsters. Like when skate parks come out, they're great because they've got loads of kids off the thing. People doing like these talks and stuff, they're great. More education for the kids, and they need more things for kids out there and younger age.
So what sort of age were you? About 15, you were saying?
Well, I started getting heavy about 15, 16, but I was doing drugs from like 12, 13-year-old.
Were you being noticed at school for this?
I was in boarding school. I went to boarding schools. I couldn't stay in school. When I was at school, they couldn't understand why I was so hectic.
Right.
But they learned I couldn't read or write. So when it came to reading and writing, I couldn't do it. So I just misbehaved.
Right.
I misbehaved and ended up going to boarding school. And I got kicked out of one school, went to another school, and then by the time I got to second school, I went straight to boarding school, like Starhurst and all that.
It was kind of probably while you were doing it, do you mind me saying, attention seeking, do you think?
Attention seeking, I understand. I wanted a lot of attention on me, and that's what I wanted.
Right, okay.
I was lost.
Yeah, you were lost, but exactly, and you were blasé to what you were doing. To be fair with you, and then suddenly, what gave you the moment to? I know you can't just say you just stopped, but what was that moment?
Moment is when you go to court,
Right.
and I've been before before this moment. I'll say before the moment of getting this court session, I've been in court 80, 90 times. I've got 8-9 grand of debt in court fines. I've been in court over the years.
Right.
I go to court. I call him Judge Rinder, but he's not called Judge Rinder, but
No.
I call him that because that's what he's like. He was proper strict.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and even to Phil, if you come to court one more time, you're looking at minimum 12 years.
Right.
And I'm like, wow. Okay, so I'm not getting 6 months, I'm not getting a year, I'm getting minimum of 12. I don't want to be in there for 12 years. I don't like the idea of that. So we come out of court, and my cousin, I won't say his name, my cousin,
No.
he's got his own story to tell. And my cousin says, what do you want to do? I was like, well, I'm not going for 12 years. What are you going to do with it? So he's out. Well, I went back to his house. He's sitting there. I had no money. I've had no drugs, nothing. And he's like, let's just go and do one more car. Let's just do one more car to make money.
Mm-hmm.
So he walked to this car. I'm allowed to tell the story a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I went to this car, and we're in Tormead at the time, in this car, and we look in there, and I said to him, I don't feel this one. I've got a really bad feeling about this situation we're in right now.
Right.
There's a car out of place.
Okay.
I know this thing. So it's in this car. So I'm looking there. So I had stuff in my hands to get rid of this car. I'm not going to do what I was using.
No.
I was going to promote that. And then I walked away. My cousin said, nah, let's not do it. Let's walk away. And the true story is I walked away. And a car pulled down beside me. Now, there's 2 policemen in there. I'm not going to say them because they...
No.
2 policemen come down beside me and said, that's the best choice you made in all your life. And they drove off. And I was like, wow. But these 2 police officers, they knew me from when I was a teenager.
Right.
Until 19. And they helped me endlessly amount. They were not turning blind eyes, but they were like educating me not to do it. Like, you're going to go, you're going to fail, you're going to do this, blah, blah, blah.
But you knew in the back of your mind that wasn't right to do what you were going to be doing.
And that day, the day I changed, the day I never looked back on crime or anything. Because I thought that's a sign. That was my sign.
Incredible. So obviously you got to that moment. So what does Phil do with his life then after that?
Well, after that moment, I go home, and that's when the depression hits in, because I've given up drugs. I gave up the bit of drink I was doing. I was on heavy drugs as well, so I was called a cold turkey. So you're sitting there, I'm sweating, I'm thinking, oh my God. Then I go into this dark mode where, like, it's hard, easy way to say it, it's like dark mode where you don't know what to do with yourself. You're sitting there, you're miserable, you're drained, you're depressed, you know, at the time I didn't know it was depression, but you're depressed, your heart's racing, I'm thinking, oh my God, here we go, I'm having a heart attack, I'm gone. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I've done too many drugs here.
How long did this go on for then, Phil?
3 months before I realised.
Okay.
I sat there and I suffered for 3 months thinking,
Right.
it's just the drug, it's coming off the drugs. And I went to doctors, and the doctor said to me, what you should have done is come to the doctor, told us, and we could have weaned you off these drugs.
Right.
But you've gone cold turkey, so you've gone from a massive adrenaline rush, high,
Yep.
to absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You could have died, basically. He said, because you're not sniffing and whatever. And he said, you would have just gone, your heart's gone from palpitations to nothing, bang. Yeah?
Right.
So he said you could have died on that. And then obviously, not doing the drugs and the drink, I've put on a lot of weight. So I'm sitting at 22 stone.
Right.
I'm massive. I mean, I'm quite a big fella. Not massive, but obese for my age. He said, you're unhealthy. He said, you're out of breath, everything. I sat in my mum's front room for 3 months, not doing nothing. I was too scared to leave the house.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't eat nothing. Well, all I ate was like, I say eat nothing, I ate like chocolate bars and cakes, nothing healthy like I would used to eat. So I'll eat like junk food, comfort food. And I just grew, I put on about 4 stone in about 3 months of literally eating junk. And then the doctor says, like, you need to change your life, basically you need to eat more food, lose a bit of weight. Because if you don't, you end up, if you have a funny turn or whatever, you know. It's like, okay, cool. So that's how I changed my life. So I sat there thinking,
What am I going to do?
what am I going to do? And then T-shirts come along.
Now, do you mind me asking, did your friends give up the drugs and all that kind of stuff, or?
My cousin gave up the drugs. Okay, this is a funny bit. You've got friends and you've got friends. Okay, so you've got friends when you're in a circle of friends that just smoke drugs and do everything with you. You think they're your best friends. The minute you haven't got nothing, I've not seen him for, well, I'm 37 now, so I've not seen him for about probably 6-7 years. These friends I had are no longer to be around. I still see them in Guildford now, off their face and doing silly stuff, and I'm thinking, you're an idiot, mate. So I walk away from them friends. They're not really your friends. The only one friend I've really got is my cousin. That he does little bits and bobs. So he's got bad back, so he does bad. But he's quieting down. He was a massive person with me as well, and he's quieting down heavily. Don't do crime, don't do anything anymore. He just does little bits and bobs, and that's what he does. But you can't have everybody.
Okay. So obviously you had to think of something to do. And how did you come up with the idea of T-shirts, for instance? Were you doodling on a piece of paper, for instance?
Basically, I've always had interest in a computer. I've always played Xbox. I've always played something like that. But I never had the interest of like designing something.
Right.
So I had a laptop. I found it in a skip.
Okay.
So I pulled it out. I said, "Oh, it works." I'm sitting there playing around with it, and someone left a program on there, designing program, like an art program. And I thought it's got to be a sign.
That must have been your calling sign.
I've got to play around with this. So I'm playing around with it. I'm playing around with it, and I've realised that if I put two pictures together of something I've made, like if I write something down, I can scan that photo on a scanner, put it on my computer, and I can play around with it.
Right.
So I broke it down. And what I've done was I've got 3 or 4 pictures of my own pictures I've made, put them together, and I thought, I can make an arm out of these writings. That's what I'm back on my t-shirt.
Right.
So I've got all these writing symbols, and I thought I can make an arm out of this. So I photocopied my arm,
Right.
scanned it, put it on a bit of paper, and then put all the writing inside my arm.
Right.
And then I went, actually, I can put this on a t-shirt. So I just Googled some random t-shirt company, got it, and thought, I can design that. Then, I think I can make it a t-shirt. Then you put a word into it. And that's how I made my first t-shirt, ever t-shirt. And I thought, okay, what else can I make? And then I'm thinking jumpers, everything.
The word is oyster, basically.
Yeah.
So, you create these designs or whatever. How do you come up with ideas then?
The ideas I have are in the moments. So I can be sitting here, for instance, and I'm thinking, and I look around, I think, oh, black canvas, that'd be a nice background. So that'd be in my back of my head. When I leave here, I'll write it down.
Right.
And then what I do is I put something to the black background. Like I love like bright colours. I'm more of like in your face kind of.
Right.
So I leave here and I make like splash marks. And like, if I go down the road and I'm walking down, I've gone for a puddle this morning, I've gone splash mark. That ain't working splash mark. So I go back and I'll put down a colourful black splash mark, but then I make it into a picture.
That's great, though, to be fair with you, that you've turned your life around and, you're coming up with all these ideas, for instance, which is fantastic. And obviously, you said to me on the radio interview, for instance, you didn't have a clue how to operate a computer and all this kind of stuff. And your spelling and your reading, for instance, wasn't A1, for instance, and how you've turned it all around.
That's what I mean. It's all I can say to people out there, if they want to try something, it's never give up on anything you want to do. You fail, and you carry on going. You probably know by yourself, probably.
Yeah.
Once in your life. You fail, but you try again. You keep trying. And eventually you'll pinpoint the bit you've gone wrong. And don't be shy to ask for help.
No.
Because the reason why I got spelling is that my mate next door is a computer wizard.
Right.
So I told him, how can I put spelling on a computer? He went, just use this app. Okay, so I use that spelling. So then when I get the spelling, I put it in the app. It tells me the right spelling, and I put it on a t-shirt. It's just constantly, if you ask for help, the bits you're not sure about, there's always someone out there who will help you. It's like you on radio, you help us.
Don't worry, Phil, I'm rubbish at spelling. Absolutely rubbish at spelling.
I'm rubbish as well.
But there is programs out there to help you along the way, which is fantastic.
You can't read or write, but you're on a radio.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, but I talk for a living.
That's it. You don't need to read or write, do you? It's like me, I design for them, so I don't need to read or write.
There you are, you see. I wouldn't have a clue how to design something, for instance.
Exactly.
That's why I allow other people to do it for me, which is great. So tell us about the clothing company that you've produced then. So how many designs are in operation?
You know what? I say about 50, 60 really in operation. I've got about 20, 30 on the website at the moment.
Right.
Whilst I'm doing this, I've got hats coming out as well, and all sorts. I've got loads I've got things in the pipeline that is coming out that I'm not going to say.
No.
But it's a bit of a secret. A lot of stuff coming out.
Okay.
I tell you about my little bit of my project I've done at the moment that I've done on the back of the scene. I'm not going to say too much, but I'll give you a little inkling. Is that I know an artist.
Right.
I've been talking to very well,
Okay.
and he can draw me my pictures. So can he sell them pictures on my website? Who knows?
I see. There you are. Clever. This is what it is, isn't it? Clever collaborations, for instance.
But this lad's 15,
Oh,
and he was going down a dark path, and he come for me for help.
well, that's fantastic.
So then I'll give him a platform to help him on.
That's great. And, that's great that you are helping these people out now, which is fantastic. So if anyone wants to find any more information and to see some of your designs and to buy something, give us your website.
It is kcwhiteclothing.com.
There you are. And he's all over social media as well. So,
Big Bag Wolf 78.
there you are. Ladies and gentlemen, have a look for yourself. Phil, thanks for explaining your story to us and giving us so much detail, and best of luck.
Thank you for having me.